Hello and welcome. The following well-known and often referenced quote is attributed to US President Woodrow Wilson. Since I entered politics, I have chiefly had men's views confided to me privately. Some of the biggest men in the United States in the field of commerce and manufacture are afraid of somebody, afraid of something. They know that there is a power somewhere so organised, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so pervasive, that they better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it. Close quote. I cite President Wilson's 1913 prescient observation because it confirms that highly consequential conspiracies exist all throughout history and are not exclusively confined to theory, as fake news media contrives. This self-evident fact becomes increasingly obvious with each and every stumbling backward step the globalist criminals are forced into, as the indomitable forces of truth and authentic freedom assert pressure from every quarter. Every transparent lie they broadcast attempts to obfuscate the wider truth, but these unconvincing deceptions grow progressively weaker and consistently fail against the objective scrutiny of critical examination. It's important to understand that without exception, everything officially reported will be the polar opposite of truth. So urgently reject all satanically scripted mainstream media disinformation and ignore their toxic propaganda. What cannot be ignored, however, is the ongoing damage this captured agency inflicts upon society via their socially engineered distortions of cultural Marxist brainwashing gullible groups such as the ludicrous Extinction Rebellion farce. Incontestable science disproving anthropogenic climate change, even to the point of ridicule, is freely available in huge and ever-growing abundance, but is forever evaded or distorted by the green blinders of irredeemably corrupt media. Increasing big tech censorship, social media deplatforming, learned helplessness, and covert psychological manoeuvrings grounded in ceaseless propaganda sees intensifying oppression. Its 24/7 invasive surveillance is measurably more extreme than the combined excesses of the Nazis, the Stasi and the Soviets. Another disturbing example of programmed perception management is a recent video interview with college campus students admitting that in the wake of transgenderism, they can no longer tell the difference between a man and a woman. Manifestly ridiculous as this is, it demonstrates how far-reaching and all-pervasively manipulative global groupthink deception extends, while providing a compelling distraction from the ongoing weaponization of the biosphere. It also diverts attention from the uncontrolled pedophilia, satanic ritual abuse, and child sex trafficking, which is the lifeblood of the so-called ruling elite of Luciferian socio-psychopaths. This unspeakably hateful cabal have created the dark false reality of satanic deception we currently endure. But countering this concentrated evil emerges a gleaming flame of divine light that truth seekers increasingly discern and graduate towards when aspiring to higher frequency. Bearers of this internal flame are many and varied, but readily identified by the courageous messages they bring and the visceral truths they espouse. An outstanding example of this is One Godless Woman, and I highly recommend her inspiringly fearless reports exposing cruel aspects of Islamification, having herself been a victim of inhumane mistreatment from barbaric forces deriving from this unacceptable dogma. Female genital mutilation, grooming gangs of pedophile rapists, brutal floggings, so-called shame killings, child marriages and public beheadings are entirely incompatible with Western values, which is why increasingly more countries resolutely move towards populist nationalist leaders. An all-consuming drive to reclaim sovereignty while opposing the contrived extinction of national identity has become unstoppable, and not before time. France, Germany, Scandinavia, Ireland and the UK are now unrecognisable, proving the establishment's slippery doublespeak language that diversity is strength is yet another Machiavellian deception. Such diversity is not strength, but more accurately, it is unforgivably treasonous subversion and betrayal of sovereign nations. Forced immigration and subsequent escalating Islamification has divided and devastated communities, which of course is the calculated intention. This extensive social disruption is not a failure of the system, but conversely a gloating triumph of maliciously inhumane design, which is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a conspiracy theory. Thank you for watching.